Good evening and welcome to another session from RUL Ministries with Mihai Kocha. Of course, my name is Mihai Kocha. I'm your host again. And for those who might not know me, RUL from RUL Ministry stands for Rediscovering Unchanging Love. And that comes from my two books. I'm an author of two books, and that is Rediscovering Unchanging Love. All right. That's part one, Rediscovering Unchanging Love, part one, and Rediscovering Unchanging Love, part two. And these books are available wherever the books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, my publisher Westbow Press, or um, um, my website www.rediscoveringunchanginglove.com. So again, as we started before, we will keep on presenting material that has never been preached before, never been presented anywhere in the world or history, and just like we have so far, we are not going to boil kids in their mother's milk, like the symbol says by Moses, if you remember that, and that is boring the parishioners in elementary teachings. Okay, so we're not going to do that. This is not the reason why this ministry exists. Okay, we are not going to stay in second grade teaching nonstop the multiplication table over and over and over and over again. So we're going to feed the parishioners with strong meat, okay, with strong food. And today we're going to study, we're going to go in the book of Genesis, and in chapter 1, there is an event that has always been, for me and for many, a mystery. And this is day one. Okay, day one of Genesis has been a mystery. And among others, but I think the answer is very obvious in most of them. But day one and day two, also, day two, have always been mysteries for me in the way people have been interpreting it. I'm not going to go into day two. I'm going to go in partial of it. But anybody who wants to study the correct interpretation of day two of Genesis, according to my opinion, and they can find it at Dr. Danny Faulkner with Answers in Genesis. Okay, this is a very renowned astronomer and cosmologist who is indeed the one that I believe in as far as the interpretation of day two of the book of Genesis. And we're going to go in partial of it, not deeply, but just what I need to prove something according to day one. In my opinion, he didn't get day one correctly, so he's close, but not correct. So this is why I've decided to do this, because it's been a mystery. People are just, I think a lot of people are being neglectful with their discoveries too, and with their um, studies. Okay, a little bit complacent, and this is where we come in. So may God help us tonight to be able to understand better His Word. And if we know His Word, we know His heart better. We know His thoughts. We know His will. And therefore, we are in a better relationship with Him. We know Him better. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but in Hebrew it says Bereshit bara Elohim. Okay, so in the beginning, bara, created, Elohim, God. Okay, so God created. But if you don't know it, the word bara, which is created in this case, comes from the word bar, okay, which means son. If you remember bar mitzvah, it's a Jewish tradition in which men, I should say young men, become men at the age of 12. They, instead of being a child, now transfer into the second stage, which is a son of the law. It's not adulthood yet, but he becomes a son of the law, and he's more equipped, and he's more into studying the scriptures. Okay, he's now responsible for more studying, and that's what means. Bar mitzvah means the son of the law, and that's what I'm trying to say, because the word bara means son. So in a sense, it's as if it would say, in the beginning, God sunned the heaven and the earth. If you want to translate it directly, okay? In the beginning, God sunned, in other words, created through his son, okay? I found that actually very interesting in my studies, and it's also important to understand that the book of Genesis starts with the second letter of the alphabet. Okay, it's Aleph and then Bet. Bet is like B in our alphabet, and that's the same in the Hebrew alphabet. And it's the same thing. It says Bereshit with B, Bet. Okay, starts with the second letter of the alphabet. So if you consider the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that is the idea. It starts with the second spirit of the alphabet. So it's as if the Trinity is pushing the Son forward. The Son, the Son of God, on the stage, on the major stage, before the world, before the entire universe. In other words, everybody should pay attention to the Son now, because God created everything through his Son, and also it starts with the second letter of the alphabet. So in a sense, I always thought that the universe and the earth were created at the same time, but we're going to see that it's actually not. Okay, so we'll keep going. So verse 3 says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. God said, let there be light, and there was light. So what was the light? What was this mysterious light? Because it could not have come from the sun, because the sun is created on day 4. And you could see that for yourself. The sun, the stars, the moon, everything that is a source of light were created on day 4. So where did the light come from? Asked many people, and they said, well, from God. It may be, how should I say, an easy answer, but that's the easy way out. Because God could not have created his own light. Okay, God has always been light. Sometimes he lives in darkness, but he always has light. He's always light. God is not a God of darkness, but is a God of light. Okay, and the reason why sometimes he lives in darkness is because he's mysterious. All right, so what I'm trying to say is that this light was created on day 1. God's light was with him forever. So he could not have created his own light. Therefore, there's a principle that needs to be understood. God created everything through the supernatural, but he maintains everything through the natural. Let me explain. For example, if we keep going, like verse 2, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So it's deep darkness. So much darkness that you cannot see anything. There's no source of light. You couldn't even see the hand in front of you. But the Spirit of God is there. So God is already there, and it's yet darkness. All right? And God cannot say, let there be light, and he should shine like a light bulb. No, that's not the case. This was created. Okay? Because God says, let there be light, and God saw the light, and that it was good, and God divided the light and from the dark. So God saw that the light was good. No. Okay? He could not have created his own light. So this light had to come from somewhere else for him to say that it was a good thing that was created. Another problem with this is that the earth is covered with water. And usually the temperature in the universe is close to 0 Kelvin. And that is almost 459 degrees Fahrenheit, which could freeze oceans in minutes. Okay? So that's another problem here. Why is the earth covered with water and not with ice? Okay? Another problem besides this is that the fact that on day 3, God creates the plants. And until day 4, okay, they don't freeze. So something protects them, not through the supernatural. You have to understand, God creates through the supernatural, but they're being maintained through the natural. That's all the way throughout. Because if that would have been the case, you couldn't trace it back to creation. You cannot trace anything back to creation through physics, through calculation. Nothing will stand. Okay? So everything has to come down to the point where if you do all the interpretation, all the calculation correct, you could trace creation back. Okay? It's hard for me to explain this. It's not easy. It's even beyond me to explain this. Okay, so I'm not very good at it. But everything is created, maintained through the natural forces that He had created. Okay. So what protected the plants from freezing, and what kept the oceans from freezing also? Well, I'm an electrician, and I know from experience that the byproduct of light is heat. Okay? That's not very surprising. So when God said that there be light, let there be heat also. Okay? And that is very logical and very true. Now, if there's light and heat, where did they come from? Because there's nothing outside of the earth. So the only way that you could have light and heat from no other source outside of the earth, it had to come from within. Okay? And what's within the earth? What is inside the earth? Well, the core. And the core is very hot, very hot. To put it this way, it's like a star, like a small star. So the earth is like a star that is covered with insulation. So the earth started to shine in pure darkness. In other words, if you even today, if you could remove all the stars, all the sources of light, I'm sure the earth would glow to some degree. Maybe it wouldn't be as as bright as it was before the flood, because it's possible that the flood might have quenched it a little bit. Possible. I don't know. But all the heat and all the light came from the center of the earth. That's what keeps the lava boiling. Sure. Of course. That's a source of heat, non-stop heat. And whenever there's high heat, there's high light. Okay? Intense light. And that's a fact. Nobody would have known it before the 20th century, but right after the 20th century, they realized, they started to do a lot of tests and a lot of, especially after they explored the universe, they were able to see that the center of the earth is like a small star. Small star is very hot. Now, what as far as the beginning, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. What is the beginning? When was the beginning? In other words, when was the earth and the heaven created? Well, if the earth was present before the light was, that means he was present on day one. And if he was present in day one, it had to be created in day one. I asked many people and they say, well, the earth must have been there before creation. Wrong. Because if we go to Exodus 20, okay, Exodus 20, chapter 20, as we read the fourth commandment, okay, this is what it says. And this is God writing it with his finger. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. And this we have to pay attention. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. All right? For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth and everything in them. So if the Lord made everything in 6 days, and in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, well, the earth was made in day one. Genesis 1 doesn't tell us that, but it's obvious. So the earth was made in day one, and that's why it's covered with water, because it's about to freeze. Okay? And because it's about to freeze, the Lord said, let there be light. And it's enough light and enough heat to keep the earth, the water on the earth from freezing. And it was enough to keep the plants comfortable so that they should not die. On the third day, because they were created on the third day, and they were on the fourth day, we have the sun. Until the sun was present, the plants had to survive. They had to survive. So, and then God said, and God divided the light from darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So dividing this light, okay, if this light came from the center of the earth, all right, dividing it means he had a period of light and a period of darkness. There's no sun to have, half the earth, in darkness, half the earth in light. No, the whole thing had a frequency. There's stars that have frequencies. They flicker, in different rhythms. There's stars that look like light towers. They shine like a light tower. And there's stars that flicker like a special code, like a Morse code, if you want to say that. I'm not familiar with the Morse code. I mean, I know the Morse code. I heard about it, but I don't know the Morse code exactly. But they flicker almost like a. It's not a rhythm that we know, like a cycle. It's just very. There's stars that just flicker that way. They're just weird that way. So the Earth has a frequency too. It's like a thermostat. So to make sure that the Earth does not overheat, probably I'm thinking. So you could have 12-hour days, 12-hour night, or you could have 16-hour day and 8 hours night. Make up the 24-hour period. I don't know exactly how God divided it, but in a sense, He would shine. The Earth would shine, not necessarily rapidly. You would slowly probably come into, to glow, reach a maximum, and then come down. The light would diminish for the night, and then glow again slowly, and then diminish again. I don't know what the rhythm would be, but we have the stars, and we know they have all kinds of rhythms in the way they shine. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, so now, if God created the heaven on the first day, the earth on the first day, when was heaven created? And this is actually a difficult one, because I always thought the heaven was created on the first day also. But that is not the case. Not according to Dr. Danny Faulkner from Answers in Genesis. And I recommend everybody to study him, to listen to his sermon on the creation of the second day. Okay? You can find that you can go to the website, just go Dr. Faulkner from Answers in Genesis, and you probably find it. So I always thought that the earth in day 2, and let me read a little bit of day 2, says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. So what I thought God did in this case for a long time, I believed in the it's called the canopy theory, where the earth was covered, like this would be the earth, okay? It was covered with a filament of water all the way around it. Okay, so the middle is that's the earth, and this would be the filament of water all the way around it, and everything was inside that greenhouse effect, if you want to keep it that way, which made sense for a long time as far as the temperature of the earth. But that's not the case. Okay, that is not the case, because the firmament, this I should say, this filament of water is actually, and it's very possible to be the edge of the universe. Okay, and that's why I'm saying that the universe, if that's the case, had to be created in day 2. Okay, so the earth was created in day 1, and the universe was created in day 2. And this makes perfect sense, because if you study day 3, you could, it says that all the stars in the heaven, of the stars, the sun, the moon, were made actually on this firmament. So they cannot be under the water, they are above the water, if that's the canopy effect, the canopy theory, which doesn't make sense. So everything is made within this universe, in this realm, and this is everything is actually under the filament of water, and then in that case the filament of water is actually the edge of the universe, and it's very possible that the Earth could be not necessarily in the center of the universe, but somewhere close to it. And I believe that makes actually perfect sense. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Earth was created the first day, and the heaven was created on the second day. All right, so this is the study of this of day one, and partially, like I said, day two. And I hope it makes sense to you. I just wanted to present it because many people believed in the canopy theory, which does not make any sense. And also, they couldn't understand, they couldn't get day one exactly. Everybody believes that God created his own light, and that is actually very, very wrong. It is actually impossible for God to make his own light. We have to see everything that God created until today. Everything is with us here today. Okay? And as far as the water, okay, that expanded the heavens, okay, that were created in day two, according to Danny Faulkner, he's saying that if this would be water, it would have to be above 0 Kelvin, okay, not much above, but as long as above 0 Kelvin, it would radiate, okay, and they get these radiations from a picture called the cosmic microwave background, the CMB, cosmic microwave background, and they get it, and that proves exactly this theory that the universe, the edge of the universe, is actually a filament of water, which could be huge. So in other words, the Earth could have been covered with a lot of water. We don't know how much water, but it must have been a lot of water, so that it expanded and created the universe all the way around it. Another idea is that you could have multiple universes. So in other words, before this universe was created, where was God? Okay? He must have been in another universe. We don't know what kind of universe that was, but it was in another universe. So we could have our universe existing inside another universe or beside other universes. Imagine like a balloon. You know, let's say you have a room full of balloons, and you blow up another one. You know, in that sense. So you could blow a balloon inside of another balloon. I've seen that too. And that wouldn't be impossible either. So we could have many universes, could have infinite number of universes of many kinds. All I know, it's just from this description alone, we could have our universe that we created in, and that bears the consequences of Adam's sin until today, because the whole creation groans. So if it groans, that means everything that was created in these 6 days, including all the stars, all the galaxies, they all groan. And it's true that everything is diminishing because of the law of entropy, called in physics, which actually the law of disorder. Everything becomes a disorder. Everything diminishes. Everything decays. That's the word I'm looking for, decays. So this whole universe is decaying because of that, because the consequences of Adam's sin. So, but that doesn't mean that the other universes are decaying. And another question that arises: well, could the edge of the universe, which is water, wouldn't it be frozen? Well, the problem is, if you're at the edge of the universe, then physics and the laws of physics are off the table. And it's true. We don't know how water would behave in another, or at the edge of the universe between two universes. We have no idea what it's like. And it's very possible that it's water because they do get the cosmic microwave background. You can check it out for yourself. You can Google it, cosmic microwave background, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They get radiations from the universe from all directions towards the Earth. So that is proof that the edge of the universe might be a filament of water. So I think that's it for today, for this evening. I thought it was very interesting to present, and I hope it's been pleasure. And if you liked it, subscribe. I hope you will enjoy my other videos too. And share them with others. Please help the Lord, the work of the Lord out, so that, because I cannot do this by myself. So we have to work, all of us together here. And thank you for watching, and God bless you. And until next time, have a good night.